Hi, hello, and welcome to my latest video. And this is going to be a different kind of video than what I usually post. Usually post vlogs and reading blogs, things like that. Today I wanted to venture into a different topic because one of my resolutions for this year is to create different content and to discuss things that I want to discuss. So today's video is about going alcohol free. So I have been alcohol free for 4 years. The last time I had a drink of alcohol was November 7th, 2020. And I remember because it was right after my birthday. Manu had purchased a bottle of wine for us to drink during my birthday. And it was during the pandemic. So it was a pandemic birthday and it was all virtual. But I wanted to discuss reasons as to why I chose to stop drinking and how it's impacted my life, and maybe some tips for those of you who are interested in going alcohol free. So, I know many people are in the middle of dry January, and I had thought about making this video in the beginning, but I feel like there was already so much content about that. And I thought this might come at a good time when people maybe be having a hard time getting through dry January, or maybe they're going through it and they're just what I like to call sober curious, seeing if this is something that they can do full forever or for extended amount of time. So that's why I wanted to make this video now. All right, so I wanted to start off with one clarification. So I refer to myself as alcohol free. Other people refer to themselves as sober. I don't use the term sober because I believe there's a different meaning for sobriety. So for me, I abstain from alcohol, and it's not the reason is not because I have had struggled with substance abuse or had a bad relationship with alcohol. So that's why I use the term alcohol free. I don't want to take away from anyone who is sober and putting in that work and working on themselves every single day. I think sobriety is an amazing thing, but it's not an easy thing. So that is why I refer to myself as alcohol free and not sober. So I want to start off with my reasons for going alcohol free. So first, I I thought about how alcohol was impacting my life, what it served me, and I found that alcohol wasn't serving me in any way. That it just wasn't something that really added to my life. Granted, I was not a heavy drinker. I was definitely more drink socially, have a glass of wine, or if I was taking a bath, a glass of wine or champagne, things like that. And I sat down and I thought, I can go without this. It's not really serving me. And I feel like I just kind of do it because it feels like something we have to do. Like you have dinner and you have to have a glass of wine with it, or you can't really relax in the bathtub unless you're indulging in a glass of wine. So I thought about that, and I knew it wasn't serving me. It wasn't giving me any added benefit to my life. The second reason, probably the biggest reason that I went alcohol free, was that my family has a history of alcohol and drug abuse, addiction in general. My father was an alcoholic. He um, he struggled a lot his entire life, and his alcoholism really impacted our family. A lot of childhood traumatic events, and just not not great. It was really bad. It was really hard, and alcoholism ultimately is what led to my father's death when I was 9 years old. So that was something that I didn't want to risk it. Like I said, I never personally struggled with it, but my dad did, his father did, my half brother had been sober for years, he had a traumatic event happen, something very sad. He was going through grief and he drank and he got into a car accident. So alcoholism also led to his death, and other family members who have struggled with alcohol and drug addiction. So I just thought, I'm not even going to risk it, having that family background. And there is some research to show that genetics may play a role into developing alcohol dependency or drug dependency. Um, I had a psychiatrist explain it. It's how your body reacts to drugs and alcohol, and that span between your first try and then having a dependency on it, it seems to be shorter with some people. So that was another reason why I quit. I just thought, I don't want to risk it. I don't know what's going on in my family, but I'm just going to cut out alcohol from my life and not even try to tempt fate. Reason number three, it kind of ties into reason number two. So, alcohol played a major role in some of the worst moments of my childhood. And I just felt icky when I would spend my money on alcohol or buying a drink. I don't want to contribute my money to a product that has harmed not only my family, but many millions and millions of people each year. They're impacted, their families are impacted, and I just didn't want to contribute to that. I didn't want to give money to that. Final reason, which is I think a very popular reason why people are quitting alcohol now, because it has become more popular to go alcohol free. It's probably the benefits to your health. So alcohol is a poison, and your body has to filter that. So it's really rough on your liver, your kidneys. It's really bad for your brain. It really does impact your brain function, especially over time. And I thought, this will benefit me in so many ways. And I have seen the benefit. I don't wake up with any hangovers after having a night out. Um, I feel like I'm doing a good thing for my body, trying to avoid putting anything unnecessary in it. There's so many bad things that we can't escape. Sometimes it's really hard, like to live in a big city, you have some of that air pollution, things like that. Alcohol is something that I can keep away from my body. It doesn't need to be there. It's a toxin that just doesn't need to go into my body unless I put it there. So the health benefits are amazing for your body, but also for your mind. I have seen within the last 4 years that going alcohol free and living sober has become a lot more popular, especially it seems like with younger people. The amount of non-alcoholic drink options I see at bars and restaurants, almost every restaurant that I go to now has a non-alcoholic cocktail or mocktail. And it's not just juices, it's a non-alcoholic liquor, it's a non-alcoholic beer. So you don't have to just settle for a soda or water if you don't want to. And I think maybe people are starting to wake up to know that, I mean, there's more science coming out that pretty much any amount of alcohol is not great for you. Um, and I think people are waking up to that. Also, another good point, alcohol is expensive. Going out and having drinks is expensive. Even the health benefits and saving on money are maybe two reasons why people have decided to ditch alcohol. So I want to quickly talk about my experience in the last 4 years of being alcohol free. I would say that in the beginning, I wouldn't say that it was hard because I want to acknowledge that for me, abstaining from alcohol has not been a struggle, which is good. I mean, obviously that's great, but I acknowledge that for some people it is harder. So for me, saying no or just not buying it was not difficult. The only times I did feel a bit of difficulty, sometimes going out and seeing other people drink and having people kind of questioning why I wasn't. Oh my gosh, the amount of times people have asked me if I was pregnant. It's like, no, you don't have to be pregnant to avoid drinking alcohol. You can just choose not to. So kind of having to explain myself why I'm abstaining from a drug, because alcohol is a drug, always kind of blew my mind. Like, you don't ask people why they don't do cocaine, why don't they do, I don't know, LSD. Why would you ask someone why they don't drink? It did seem like I had to explain myself sometimes. Um Especially if it wasn't someone in like my inner circle who already knew. And I'll get to that later when it comes to tips and advice. But yeah, having to kind of explain, yeah, I don't drink, and people assuming that it's because I was pregnant or trying to get pregnant or something like that. That was a little annoying. I will say that going alcohol free has been a pretty positive experience and very, again, aside from having to explain to a few people, it's simple. Like I said, so many restaurants offer mocktails or non-alcoholic beer. Um, And, if you go somewhere that has a bar, you can always ask the bartender to make you a drink, to make you a mocktail. They have all kinds of juices and fruit. And if they don't have something on the menu, I just ask the bartender to make me something. And 9 times out of 10, it's really tasty. I just tell them the kind of flavors I like, and they make me a really yummy drink. And they bring in a nice glass, and it kind of helps you, scratch that itch of having something indulgent. And I've noticed in the last 4 years, the amount of non alcoholic products has exploded. It's amazing. Almost anywhere you go, whether it's a big chain or a small chain, there are non alcoholic options. And I'm not just talking about a soda or a juice, non alcoholic beers, non alcoholic liquors, um, non alcoholic premix mocktails, and you have an abundance of choice now. Which, when I first went alcohol free, there were a few brands, but not like there is now. And I think it's amazing. Pretty much any kind of drink that you're craving, you can get it alcohol free. All right, now I wanted to get to the point of the video where I provide some tips and advice for people who are considering going alcohol free. My first tip number one, is consider your why and remember when you're having a hard time. So remember why you decided to cut alcohol from your life. Maybe it's because you're like me and you have a family history of alcoholism, or maybe you just don't like how you are when you drink, or you don't like that feeling afterwards. Or maybe you've made some regrettable decisions when you have been drinking, and um, don't want to engage in that kind of behavior anymore. So when you're having a hard time, just remember your why. Let that be at the forefront of your thoughts of why are you doing this. Another good point is to reflect on what alcohol brings to you. Does it serve you? Does it actually make you feel less inhibited, or does it just make you say things that you might regret later or do things that you regret? Is there another way that you can help feel that confidence? Instead of taking a drink, maybe you do a little dance before you go out, or you practice doing yoga or doing meditation to help kind of calm your mind. You go to the gym to kind of help build some more confidence and outer and inner strength. So really think about, is alcohol really serving a purpose in your life? Number three, and I think this one's really important, make it known that you're going on this alcohol-free journey. Whether you're just doing dry January or you're sober curious, just let the people around you know that this is something that you're doing. And that way they're not the ones questioning you, saying, why don't you drink? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Instead of more supportive. I found when I let people know in my inner circle that I was giving up alcohol, that they are really supportive. And now when I make plans with my friends, I'm like, look, what they have non-alcoholic options, and they'll like screenshot it and send it to me. Or if we have a gathering and I go over there, they always have a non-alcoholic option, which is fantastic because they know that is part of who I am. And you don't have to worry about answering those really annoying questions, because your inner circle, the people you care about, already know, and they're going to be supportive of you, hopefully. And if they're not, then it might be time to reconsider if that person is really your friend. How are they impacting your life? So let your inner circle know and ask them for support. Big one, this is, I think, it doesn't really impact me because Manu's in his 40s, I'm in my late 30s, so we're not really in bars or in clubs a lot. But if you are, consider alternatives to bars and clubs. So really have a conversation with your friends about something else that you can do instead of just going to a bar. Maybe go bowling, um, go to an art class, go to a bookshop. just be creative. Hang out at each other's house and do a movie marathon, and try to find other things to do besides going to a bar or club. And if you find that you have friends that only want to do that, only want to go to bars and clubs, only want to drink with you, then again, that's another time to consider what role that person might play in your life, and whether um, you might want to just cut back a little bit with that person, or have an open conversation with them like, hey, I really like you, but it seems like we only go to bars, and right now my goal is to abstain from alcohol, and having that conversation. So you don't have to just cut people out, have a conversation with them. And if it doesn't work, then it might be time to think about making a new friend. My next tip, and this is a really important one, is to set yourself up for success. So, what I mean by that, all right, you got invited to a gathering, a friend's birthday party. Um, bring your own drinks. Bring your own drinks. You have an option, a plethora of choices now. I like to bring non-alcoholic beers with me because I find that a lot of people, if other people want them, they're probably what most people will be happy having, a non-alcoholic beer. But you can bring sparkling water, you can bring soda, you can bring uh, non-alcoholic wine. I've done that a few times for my friends. What was it? No, for Thanksgiving, we all had some non-alcoholic wine and we toasted with that. Some people just toasted with regular wine and it was fine. But I had set myself up for success by bringing my own drink. Um, and then if you're going somewhere, look ahead. Does the restaurant offer non-alcoholic drinks? Is there a bar that offers non-alcoholic drinks if you are going to go to one? And if all else fails, if there is a bartender, ask them to make you a mocktail. They'll be happy to do it. So set yourself up for success. Look ahead of time. Bring your own drinks. I know here in Chicago they have a BYOB, bring your own beer option. So a lot of times you can bring your own drinks. So if you end up going to a restaurant that doesn't offer any non-alcoholic options, if they are BYOB, you can bring your own drinks, which I love that about the city. Next tip is to find supportive content makers. So it might be a good time to take a look at some of the people, content creators that you're following. And if you feel like maybe they are posting too much about drinking and going out, maybe take a break from them, or you can block their content. There are great content creators. I like Instagram, so I will plug in Instagram. An account that I really enjoy is called No Booze Babes, and I've been following them since I started my non-alcoholic journey. And she gives all these great tips, and she's just super supportive, and it just makes like you feel like you're part of the coolest girl gang ever when you're on there, that you're also a no booze babe, and you're waking up hangover free. You are able to wake up early and get to that early morning workout class. You're able to reach your goals and feel great, and it's a great supportive community. And if you're a guy, you can follow too. There's no rules. You don't have to be a babe. And you know what? Babes can be guys or girls. But No Booze Babes is one of my favorite accounts on Instagram. And I've been following her for years and I highly recommend it. Okay, my last tip is going to take a bit of mind work. So, for as long as I can remember, alcohol has always been glamorized in the media, like in movies and television. You'll see a good-looking couple out for a date, they're having wine. Um, you see a group of people, they're celebrating someone's birthday or an engagement or a promotion. They go out drinking, they're clinking glasses of champagne. At weddings, they're celebrating with a toast and it's alcohol. And I've this is done intentionally. Alcohol is always shown as something glamorous, but try to remove those lens from the lens, and really understand what alcohol is. It's a poison, and in moderation, it can be fine, but in the end, it's still something that does impact your body, impacts your mind, and it's not all glamorous. There are millions and millions and millions of people who are impacted by alcohol dependency, alcoholism, and There's nothing glamorous about that. If you are someone who has been touched by alcoholism, whether it's yourself or someone you care about, family member, you know how unglamorous it is. It ruins the lives of everyone it touches. So just think about that the next time you see an ad for a beer or a wine or something like that. That it's not all glitz and glamour. That it is a drug, and it can have some severe consequences when it is abused. Okay, so I wanted to end this video with a few of my favorite non-alcoholic drink options. I have a few here. All right, so I want to start with a product that is completely alcohol free, so it's not like a wine alternative, though I will be mentioning one after this. This is the Toast Rosé sparkling white tea, ginger and elderberry. So this is just like a sparkling drink, so it's mainly tea, but it has some flavors and it's so good. So if you want something truly alcohol free, this is a great option if you want to toast, or if you're in the, want to have a relaxing spa night. I love this stuff. It's so tasty. And I think we're actually going to drink some tonight because I recently got a promotion. And I think this is a great way to celebrate. So the brand is Toast. I've seen this in a few different places. We got this one at Whole Foods, but I'm pretty sure I've seen it in other grocery stores as well. A wine alternative that I really enjoy is a brand called Good Twin. I'll try to insert a picture or I'll link it below. And I've had two of their drinks. So one was just a non-alcoholic sparkling wine, an Italian one, and then they have a de-alcoholized sparkling white wine, almost like a prosecco, and both are really good, and I would recommend either one of them. Right, so for non-alcoholic beers, one of my favorite from like an actual beer company is Heineken Zero. That's one of my go-tos. Always great, always fantastic, and they're available in a lot of different bars. I also like the Stella Artois. I don't know if I'm saying that right. These are pretty good too. They're actually really good with tacos. I like to have them with tacos. Another great beer company is Athletic Brewing, and they've been around for the last few years. They've really expanded. They're, I think, my favorite non-alcoholic beer brand. So I say that in that they only create non-alcoholic beers. They don't make it's not like with Heineken that produces alcoholic beers and non-alcoholic products. So Athletic Brewing, fantastic, 10 out of 10, would highly recommend. Normally we would have Athletic Brewing non-alcoholic beers in the fridge, but I think last time we just wanted to try something new, and we tried this other brand that we actually really did like. Brand, I think it's called Partake. And we bought this big pack that has a bunch of different types of beers. So this one is an IPA. Yeah, Partake. So this one's an IPA. This is oh my gosh, PILS, a pills? Pills? Is that how you say it? A pale ale, a blonde. And this is the one I actually like the best. Sometimes I am not in the mood for a non-alcoholic drink and I just want a soda. I don't drink soda often. Actually, the only time I ever drink is if it's an Olipop, a vintage cola. And yeah, it's nice. It's bubbly. It has a lot of fiber in it and very little sugar and calories. So this is a great alternative. But if you also want to get some non-alcoholic rum, you can mix this in there and get yourself a nice rum and coke. Speaking of non-alcoholic liquor, there are many non-alcoholic liquors out there. My favorite though is Zero Proof. Um, uh, they make a gin that is really good, and for Manu one year, I think for his birthday, I bought him a bottle of that gin and he really loved it, and I would make him a gin and tonic. Um, I also love a brand Wilfred's, and that's to make an Aperol Spritz. Oh my gosh, so good. I haven't been able to find it here. I'm gonna have to order it or something. When I was in Orlando, there was a non-alcoholic speakeasy, which is amazing. I hope it's still there. And they sold all types of non-alcoholic drinks, including the Wilfred's Aperol Spritz. fantastic. So good. I'll have to include pictures or links in the bottom. Last thing I want to show you is a good old fashioned sparkling water. Honestly, sometimes I don't want an alcoholic drink. I don't want a soda, but I still want something a little extra above water. So a sparkling water, 0 calories, 0 sugar. My favorite thing to do is actually make mocktails with them. So if I make an Aperol spritz, I'll do like a orange flavored one or a lemon flavored one, and I'll mix it with the Wilfreds. Lately, Manu and I have been making a tart cherry juice sleepy girl mocktail. So that involves, usually depending on how much you want, between like a fourth of a cup or half a cup of tart cherry juice. You want this with no added sugar and not from concentrate, and mix it with a sparkling water. This one is a tropical fruit one, and you have yourself a really yummy, tasty, and beneficial mocktail, because tart cherry juice contains natural melatonin, so it can help you sleep, but it's also really good for recovering after workouts. So sometimes if Manu and I have worked out that day, we'll have one with our dinner, and maybe I'll make one. Maybe I'll record myself making one for this video as well. That might be really fun, actually. Um, yeah, maybe I'll do that. Or I don't know. I think we also wanted to open this as well. Oh, so many choices. There are so many choices to enjoy, which is fantastic. I'm so happy we're living in a time where there are so many alternatives to drinking alcohol. So the drinks that I mentioned, they're alcohol free. It's the beers, but that means they might have 0.5% alcohol, some of them. That is still legally considered alcohol free. It's such a low amount of alcohol that it's not even recognized in the body. Now, people who maybe have had alcohol dependence, um, or alcoholism, as it's also called, may want to abstain from this. Some people completely do, because it just might still be a little too tempting, too much like it. It might trigger a relapse. So, if that is you, then there are definitely other content creators that might provide insight. But do what feels right for you. If drinks like this will feel too triggering, then you know what? Get yourself a nice sparkling water. I love getting that. A soda is great. Um, Liquid Death. Love Liquid Death. It's such a cool can, but you're drinking water, right? But you're still having a drink with friends. Um, so yeah, I did want to add that note in there, because non-alcoholic options may not always be a good option for some people, and I wanted to acknowledge that. But it's been good for me, and I just am very happy that there are products that are non-alcoholic. Again, that might mean they have 0.5% alcohol. There are other products too that are absolutely zero proof. Um, Side note, in Spain, oh my gosh, it was fantastic. In Spain, every restaurant we went to, you can ask for cero cero, 0 0, meaning zero proof beer, no alcohol at all. So that was fantastic. So you could definitely find zero proof alcohol. This one, for example, is 0 0. And let's see. Let's see. And then this one is considered non-alcoholic, but it does have the 0.5% alcohol by volume. So again, still labeled as alcohol free. So you have to know where you're at in your journey, if this is something that will work for you or if it won't. But I did want to include some options. All right, so I feel like I've been rambling forever. Hopefully this video isn't too long. I really wanted it to be short and sweet and to the point. If people like this video, maybe I'll create more content, share some more mocktails. Um, I just, I really wanted to speak on something that I'm very passionate about, and that I feel like I know a lot about, since I have been alcohol free for 4 years. And yeah, I want to make meaningful content and helpful content. So I hope that if you are interested in going alcohol free, that this video was helpful, or at least just felt supportive. Um, And I'm going to link some other videos that I thought were interesting, some that are geared more towards sobriety rather than being alcohol free, as I discussed earlier. I see those as different things. Thank you for watching this video. If you watched it all the way to the end, thank you so much. I hope this content is helpful. I hope that if you are sober curious, you continue with your journey and just remember your why. Um, think about how alcohol is serving you or not serving you. Um, Set yourself up for success. Tell your inner circle, get that support. And yeah, good luck this year. And I hope all the best for you. Just living life and enjoying it every single day. And thank you for watching. I am literally just rambling on. Thanks for watching.